Welcome to the Strong Roots Podcast. My name is Kristin Hill, and we are in an Enneagram season. And what the Enneagram is, it's a really popular personality test. And what we want to do throughout this season is to show you how uniquely you are made in God's image through each personality type that they lay out. So get ready to learn more about yourself and others through this podcast. Welcome back to the Enneagram season. I'm here with Aubrey. She is a type 2, which is the helper. And for those of you who don't know what that type is, the way they are described is 2s are naturally intuitive to the needs of others. And out of all the numbers, you are the most empathetic and caring. So I'm going to pick her brain, and I can't imagine a better 2 to be interviewing. So thank you for doing this with me. You ready?
Yeah.
Okay. So first question, what do you wish people knew about 2s? And do you feel like there are any misconceptions?
I feel like one of the biggest misconceptions is probably that 2s can be manipulative.
Ooh.
And I think they definitely can be manipulative, but I was watching this thing and he had a really good quote. He said, 2s don't help to get. 2s don't help to get.
Yeah.
They help to build.
Ooh.
And that was I'm not doing something for someone else because I want to get something from them. It's because I want to get to know them better.
Mm-hmm.
I want closeness. I don't want return.
Do you think as a 2, there can be strings attached sometimes, though?
Yeah, I definitely think with certain people, I think probably the people I'm closest to, there's oftentimes but what if I do this nice thing and then maybe they'll do that nice thing for me back. That'd be so cool.
What do you feel like is the one thing that you want to get the most from people if you're being unhealthy? If you do something for someone, what would be the one thing that you most likely want from them?
Probably their affirmation or that you're doing a good job or oh, this is so great. Totally without a doubt. If I'm doing it for the wrong reasons, I want affirmation from them.
Yeah, why? Why do you feel like that is?
I don't know. 2s love to be loved.
Yes.
And so I think that's one of the biggest things that can come from an unhealthy connection to people.
Yes. And how has having a relationship with Jesus shifted that for you?
I mean, my worth doesn't come from other people. My worth comes from Jesus alone and what he says about me. And knowing that, I think, has been huge in trying to shift my focus from I'm doing this because I want someone else to honor me versus I'm doing this because I'm honoring Jesus.
Has that set you free in a lot of areas?
Yes, and it's still something I'm working on every day.
Yes.
But I think it's definitely set me free from a lot of the pressure to do well.
Yes.
In certain things.
Oh, that's really good and very relatable. So, all right. So in your opinion, what are the greatest strengths in a 2?
I think it's probably they're generally very positive and have an optimistic outlook, and especially their ability to see a need and then their joy of being able to address it.
Yes. What is one of your favorite ways to help?
I think I love picking up projects with people and working together on projects, whether it's we need to move rocks down this mountain or it's oh, you need help with cutting out letters on a Cricut? Okay.
Yes.
I think it's just being able to do something with someone else.
Mm-hmm. And something I see in you is you don't need the spotlight. As much as you love helping to have sometimes that affirmation, you would very much rather be in the background, doing the Cricut, helping somebody, lifting somebody else up. I feel like that is such a godly characteristic. And I think a lot of times, I feel like your motives are pure. And it's not even necessarily something you have to, we have to work hard at not wanting other people's approval versus God. But I don't feel and tell me if I'm wrong, you have to work hard at not being spotlight. That's just something that's natural to you.
I am totally okay with backstage grab the curtain.
Yes.
Or whatever it's going to be.
That's so cool. Anything else that you think is really awesome about being a 2?
I don't know. I don't know. I love being a 2. You
Yes,
know?
yes. I think you're a great friend. Do you feel like 2s make a great friend?
I think so. I have a lot of great friends who are 2s, and I have a lot of great friends who aren't 2s. But I think one of the biggest things is like a 2's ability to build relationships. And like whether that's from their ability to bring people together through like optimism, or if it's from their ability to like partner with someone on, I don't know, building them up and like being encouraging.
Yes. Oh, so good. So, next question.
Yes.
What makes you cringe about being a 2?
Definitely, we already kind of touched on it, but definitely like the need for affirmation. And then like hand in hand with that would have to be like if I don't get affirmation, or when I don't get affirmation, sometimes I get super like upset and offended and like I carry all these bad emotions because I've linked my worth to the wrong thing.
Right. How have you learned to overcome that?
Yeah. I think the biggest thing is reminding myself that like my worth does not come from pleasing people.
Right.
Like if I'm working to please people, I'm working for the wrong thing.
Amen.
You know? And I think one of the biggest ways I've overcome that is from being able to like shift my focus from like, why am I doing this? Like in my core, like what is my desire to do this?
Right.
Like is it because I want to serve God and love people, or is it because I want people to love me?
Ooh, that's good.
And like I think that has been one of the biggest ways that I've been able to like shift from like away from the cringiness. And like it definitely still happens sometimes.
Yes.
But I think being aware of it has made such a difference on like how I handle it and how fast I can handle it versus like I feel yucky for like 4 days. Yes. It's like, why do I feel like this? And then it's like, oh, that's why. But like now I can recognize it a lot faster and change what I'm thinking about.
Oh, so good. So how important is forgiveness in your life for that reason?
Yeah, I think it's huge. And oftentimes I have to not only like forgive others for this thing, I have to forgive myself for expecting it from them.
Ooh, that's good.
And like ultimately, like if they didn't give it to me, like if they didn't give me what I wanted, like okay, whatever, like they don't owe me anything. And like ultimately I have to not only forgive myself, but recognize in myself that like what I wanted from them, like I was in the wrong. And like I not only do I need to forgive myself, like I need to seek them out and ask for forgiveness because it affects my relationship with them.
So does this transfer to your relationship with God? Do you ever get offended with him or get like, talk to me about that?
Yes. So actually in this notebook, the page right next to this is a page where it's like super angry prayer. Like, is it? Yes. Like, I hope the cameras can't pick this up because it is like straight up like, I am mad. Like, why are you making me feel like this?
Yeah.
And I think like with and it kind of pulls in, like I struggle a lot with pride.
Okay.
And like, I don't want to have to accept like help, you know, like I don't want to have to, like I'm so glad that I get to, but sometimes in my heart of hearts, I'm like, I don't want to like have to ask God for forgiveness. Like I don't want to have to admit that I need this.
Right.
And I think like that has been something I'm working on overcoming because like God gives forgiveness freely.
Yes.
And like there's nothing I have to do to earn it. There's nothing I have to do. I just have to be willing to accept it from him. And I think that's been a super huge barrier that I've been able to break and like been able to come to Jesus and give him like these things that I'm dealing with and also ask for his forgiveness in that.
Oh, that's so good. So the pride thing.
Yeah.
Does that make you cringe?
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. I think sometimes I don't necessarily think I have a lot of pride with other people, but I do have a lot of pride in my relationship with Jesus that like I am working on overcoming every day and like I want to help other people, but like God doesn't need my help.
Ooh, that's
He
good.
needs my heart. Like it's
Yes.
I could try to help Jesus, but like ultimately like I need him way more than he needs me.
Yes. Oh, that is so good. So I think I hit a lot of this, but man, what traits do you think of a 2 reflect Jesus' character in God's image the most?
Jesus was such a servant.
Ooh,
and like he loved to serve people. He didn't do it because he was obligated to do it. He didn't do it because he felt like that's what he needed to do. Like he found joy in serving people.
Yes.
And I think as a 2, like oftentimes I don't serve people for the right reasons, but I think especially when I'm healthy and I have a healthy relationship with Jesus, like I'm serving people because it brings me joy and because it truly is like it reflects who Jesus is.
Yes. What's your favorite way to serve?
I don't know. I don't think I could choose a favorite way to serve. Yeah. What's yours?
My favorite way to serve. That's good because I'm a 2. Anything to do with people.
Yeah.
Like if I know it's going to be doing something for another person. So I think I'm like whether it's writing a card or making a meal or if it has anything to do with bringing joy to someone, like you said, or relieving somebody of a stress.
Yeah.
I'm like, I'm all on it. Like, you don't even have to ask me to do it. I'm like, let me just perceive that need and like, you know, and not nothing, but man, very few things feel better than making someone's day because you feel this as a 2, I want to be seen. And it brings me joy to see other people. And I think sometimes it goes back to, like you said, being offended. Like, oh, no one sees me. Yeah. Right? Like, oh, I do all this and no one does it for me. And like, I think I've been very unhealthy in that way. And again, still do sometimes. I haven't arrived. But like, I think something that God has shifted in me is being able to, whenever I start feeling that way, like, oh, I wish I could be seen. It's like, no, I'm going to go. Like, and that's my trigger and my thought. Like, okay, I'm going to go see the needs of other people. Because focusing inward leads to nowhere good. And I feel like my instant reflex now is like, no, you don't need that. You have Jesus. Go bring it to other people. Yeah. Do you feel that way too?
I think it's huge. Yeah, no, I totally agree. And like, there's no, like, especially when you have those yucky feelings of like, it does bring you joy.
Yes.
And like, it's able to turn like, I don't know, something bad whereas I used to would have been like,
yes, like you said, 4 days.
Be sad. Yeah, I'm just gonna be sad for forever until somebody finally sees me, and then it's gonna be okay again. Yes. But like now, it's like, oh, okay, like I can do something else with this,
and it's better. Yes. Like serving other people is 10 times better than someone serving you, yes. Isn't it? It's like, God, why did I learn this 10 years ago?
Yeah, I know. Oh my goodness.
Yes, yes. So thank you for, I don't know, asking that back to me. That was very nice. So what traits of a 2 do you easily agree with? And any do you actually disagree with?
I think I agree with a lot of them. I think mostly, sometimes on like the meme pages, yes. I'm like, I don't really, like, there was this one meme, it was like, oh my goodness, I brought you a casserole. And it was like maybe someday. I don't know how to cook.
Right. This doesn't pertain to my life right now. Yes.
But I think as I continue to grow into everything Jesus has for me, I'll be able to see more like, oh, like, yeah, like these are strengths that he's given to me and like for the betterment of his kingdom. Yeah. And like continually seeing him change those weaknesses into strengths. Yes. You know, or like not even changing the weaknesses into strengths, but even just overcoming the weaknesses.
So I feel like knowing weaknesses is half the battle and being able to own it. Like, okay, I do struggle with pride. I do struggle with being corrective. Like, I need to be able to see that before I can actually, because you have to give it to God. And if we can't acknowledge it, how can we give it to him? Yeah. So those 2 things were very helpful to me. The pride and the struggling, admitting I'm wrong. I was like, ooh, that hurts. But I do agree with, you know. So, man, anything else you want to add about being a 2 or anything you want to speak to the 2s listening that you would, oh my goodness, that you learned that was really helpful?
I think probably the biggest thing, like for 2s that are listening, as soon as you overcome the like struggle between where does my worth come from, you find so much freedom in being able to like put your worth in God, who is unchanging.
Yes. Amen. That's so good. Thank you. Like, I need that too. And thank you so much for listening. We want to challenge all the 2s watching to do and pick one of these 4 things. So either seek God's approval above all others, which you pretty much just hit on, which was awesome. Try to establish healthy boundaries with people so that you can truly love them purely. Another one that you could try to do is checking your motives for helping others. Are you giving to get? Are there those strings attached that we talked about? And if that you see that in your life, ask God to help you remove those strings. And the last one we put down is let people serve you. And to realize that asking people for help can actually be a gift you're giving to them. Mm-hmm. But Aubrey, which one do you feel like you want to do?
Definitely seeking God's approval above all else.
Yes.
Like, it is a daily struggle. And, like, it's a win, ultimately. But, like, it's definitely something I have to fight for.
Yes, same. Fighting together. But thank you. Yeah. And I just really appreciated this. And thank you, everyone who's listening. We can't wait to catch you next time. We're going to be talking about the 3s, the achievers. So see you then. Thank you for checking out the Strong Roots podcast. If you are curious what your type is, make sure to check out the link in the description below. And if you don't want to miss out on any future content, make sure to follow us on all our social media platforms. And we are praying that your roots stay strong.